It is me. It is me. It is me. You're muted, Missy. Stop
There
talking.
we go.
There you go.
Awesome.
That's okay. I'm here alone in the room bouncing around. It's me. It's me. I'm on camera. And then I realized I'm being recorded. And then you popped up. A lot less awkward. Right?
Yeah.
So we're set up and good to go.
Cool.
Give
How's your
everybody
morning?
a moment to trail. And my moment's been good. I finished that one article, ready to move into some of the others.
Awesome. Perhaps in a little bit or during this little segment, you could share screen and put up the article that I published on the frog, since it's Frog Friday.
Sure, let me find that.
Tristan and I were talking on the phone earlier this morning, and I'm like, is today about the mushroom article or about the frog article? And he's like, let's do frog. I'm feeling the frog. I'm like, okay, great, Frog Friday. And then he's like, well, what would it be if it would have been mushroom? Like, Fungus Friday. No matter what, I had something to go with that Friday.
The fungus among us. Juliana has entered the waiting room. Admit Juliana. Juliana incoming.
Awesome. Juliana. I have a drink of water.
Here's a link to the article, and then if and when you're ready, I'll share screen, pop it up here.
Okay, cool. Oh my god, that picture of the frog is just so cute.
Can't go wrong with a frog with a butterfly on his head. You just can't.
I know. Okay, so I'm recording from the car today. It's been like a busy few days. A lot of driving, a lot of stuff being done. But all good. Is Juliana on?
She's connecting to audio. She can probably hear us and see us, maybe. Juliana, okay. You type in the chat, you can hear us. You're still connecting, but you're coming through.
Yeah. And then I'll start. But yeah, it's been busy. I still got 3 more things on my to-do list today. It's gonna be over.
Day's almost over. It's gonna be like halfway point in an hour.
I felt really good this morning when I got back here and I had an extra hour. And I'm like, whoa, I had so many things on my list and I just scratched off a whole bunch of them. And I'm an hour early and it's not even noon. It was like 10 o'clock.
That's how I felt when I woke up this morning. By the time I actually got out of bed, and I'd been awake for what felt like a few hours and just kind of laying there zoned out, I'm like, the sun's got to be coming up soon. Get up. It's still 6:30.
Yeah.
Felt accomplished.
Yeah. Feels good though. Like, I mean, you pick your problems, right? That's a pretty good problem.
I'm up early, well rested, and get to be productive.
Woo!
It's a great problem to have.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's almost like when we do the DMs, and it's like, oh man, we can't even catch up here. It feels like it's a lot. And then it's like, wait, when it comes to problems, this is a good one. We've chose this. And we'll do it. And we make it through with a bunch of new allies. All right, so let's talk about the frog. Let's get started here because we don't have a lot of time, but pretty much everything is in the article. I just wanted to share with you, I guess, why I was called to do this and maybe like fill in some gaps or bring it all together, because in the article, I actually recorded live all 3 of my self-administered Kambo sessions. So there's a lot of content there. that you guys can see on your own, so I'm not going to share all of that. What I will say though is that, like, you guys, I don't know what I'm doing here. I didn't do the Kambo Practitioner program, but what I will say is that I do believe that is like my right as a human being to work with the medicines that call me, especially if they're God-given, like, you know, like the frog, for example, or the mushroom. And the frog is one that really deeply called me. Mushrooms did for a long time. 18 years I've been working with mushrooms. I still love them, dear to my heart, but a new medicine introduced itself to me a few years ago, and it has changed my life so dramatically. And I was paying really big money and traveling far distances to work with Kambo frog medicine, and I decided that I wanted to do it not to myself, but for myself in my own way, that it just made practical sense. And honestly, it was a calling again. I really felt it in me. I felt that there was a blockage in my chakras, and I felt called to work with Kambo again. And this has been an ongoing kind of thing. And Tristan could tell that something was up with me energetically too. So he offered me a Reiki session. I laid down on his table, and I remember just emotionally purging. I just cried. I wept. And the noises that were coming out of my body were literally frog noises. Like my stomach would gurgle. It would sound like a croaking frog. My throat chakra would finally open up, and you know how there's like kind of like a gasp. It would sound like a croak. It was like the craziest thing. And then I wept even more because I'm like still scared of this medicine. I worked with it so many times, but I was still like feeling scared. I'm like, this is not what I wanted. Like, I literally planned out my life. Once I published Be the Change, which broke down the seasons and the moon cycles, I was like, wow, I can accomplish any goal that I want to in my life. And now I know how to enjoy the journey getting there and how to fill in the gaps to get there. That, like, I hadn't kind of my whole life planned out. I knew how I was going to get to where I was. There was no doubt in my mind. And then I was like interrupted by this frog. And, you know, my OCD doesn't like that. So there's a lot of my anxiety doesn't like that or anything. So it becomes a resistance around working with this medicine. That was what I was crying about. I was like, but at the same time as me letting out all of those fears, I was also making space for this new opportunity. And I saw the opportunity and I felt the opportunity, and, you know, like the frog was clear. And so I did it. I jumped in. I did a lot of research into how kind of created my own curriculum. I went to some of the Kambo Practitioner websites, and I'm like, okay, this is what their syllabus looks like. This is how I'm going to work with it myself. This video compilation of these 3 days of me self-administering, this is what I decided to do with my current limited knowledge and experience. I have worked with different practitioners that do things very different ways. I also, you know, have my own beliefs that I'm bringing to this, and my own reasons for doing this that are different from those previous practitioners. And I really wanted to share the introduction of what the journey's been like. And yeah, and so that is the compilation. I also filled in, you know, a bunch of steps as well, so you guys have information on if you want to do start a practice of your own working with the frog, or you feel called, or define practitioners, or to know what to expect in traditional ceremony versus what you saw me doing. You know, so there's a lot of information in there, a lot of the stuff that I studied. I wanted to understand it better, right? And like Yogi Bhajan said, if you want to learn something, you read about it. That was my studies. If you want to, and it was my personal experience too going in, but I still, before ever doing my initiation, I still did my studies. So I still read about it to learn about it. And then to understand it, I do these kinds of recordings, and I study again, and I write it all out, and I journal it out, and then I recreate from my journaling pages so that it's not just wasted space, so that those pages and that time has a purpose. The time spent journaling now has a purpose. And I make use of of all of that in these ways. And then the third step that Yogi Bhajan talks about is that if you want to master something, you teach it. And so this is where I actually put everything together in a compilation. And I share it with you guys, and I program myself to do things in this way over the years, mainly because yoga transformed my life, but also these medicines. And so if I can use the teachings from yoga to explain the teachings from these medicines, I feel I'm in my alignment in that space. And so I really hope you guys enjoy this. And if you need anything else along the way, please contact me. You can do that directly or through the website elementalgrowth.org. I'll get Tristan to put up the article there so you can see what's available to you and exactly how to get there yourself.
I split screen.
So there should be the share button, and then go to the website elementalgrowth.org and then hit the resources tab.
See me?
Yep, there we go. So yeah, you go elementalgrowth.org and then you hit the resources tab up at the top there. Tristan can point at it so you know, and it does highlight. Then you scroll down and you'll see why I love Kambo frog medicine, also called Sapo. And I think it's important to know here, there's been a lot of, it's really well known. And so there's a lot of talk around it being very purgative. And Tristan's worked with it in times and purged and not purged. And you'll see in these videos that it was a different kind of purge for me. I have purged from both ends. I have purged through sweat, through so many different ways that your body eliminates. It's a miraculous tool. And these 3 days, they were very much an emotional cleanse. There's a lot that came up. There's still a lot of integration work that I'm doing now. This trip on the road brought a lot of healing too. I got to see some amazing people that helped raise myself and my brother, and connect with some really like-minded people. And I got to do garden meetings and so much more on my schedule now. It's a lot that I'm doing, but I know that this is a very transformational time for me. And I'm taking the time in between tasks to still integrate, to still spend time by myself, to still spend time journaling what I'm doing. And really enjoying myself in these moments. Like everything that's on my schedule is stuff that I'm choosing and that I truly want to do. Everybody that I'm hanging out with are people that I'm making the decision consciously, these are the people in my life, these are the tasks that I want to do and the people I want to be doing them with. And so I guess one of the things that's coming through here is that in the integration process, it is about taking the time to journal, but it's also about the balance of still living your life. That's what life is here for. It's to be living it, not to be thinking about it, not to be, going through bouts of anxiety and, when you're thinking it way into the future and having anxiety about what's coming, what's out of my control. And that turns into OCD. What can I control? And how much can I control it? And then there's, the depression, when you have bouts of depression, you're just stuck in the past and you fall back into some of those old triggers and old patterns. Life is about living. And to do that, we want to be present in the moments. We do want to be scheduling in tasks and people that we want to be, spending this time with. And we want the tasks to be things that are helping us grow. And in between those things, our community and our work, we want to also be scheduling in time to take care of ourselves and do this inner work, the shadow work, the contemplation work, the journaling prompts, the just conscious writing, where you just let the pen flow, creative writing. Yeah. All right, so as you can see, this article was pretty in depth, and there's a lot there. I think each video, each ceremony that we did was about 40 minutes long or so. So yeah, if you have any questions about anything along the way, I look forward to hearing from you. All right, goodbye for now. Love you all.
Bye.
Bye.